It's time to get inside the Giants Huddle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
On Giants.com.
I like it, I like it.
And the Giants mobile app.
Boom, give me some juice.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's roll.
Welcome to the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. My name is Madelyn Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champ Shaun O'Hara.
Got that dub.
We got that dub. It's a Week 11 rapid reaction. The Giants went down to Washington, got the win 31-19. Of course, clinched it with an Isaiah Simmons pick six. Shaun, we were watching the game. You saw that one coming as they were lining up for that last play. You're like, it's going to be a pick six here.
Yeah, lucky guess. I didn't like the way it was ending right there. The offense was out. They had a chance to do the 4-minute offense and not put the defense back out on the field, but things got a little hairy there with Washington. What did they have? A minute 49 seconds left. They had one timeout left, and they were starting to march. So couldn't have come at a better time. And I think Sam Howell was actually trying to throw the ball away, but heads up play by Isaiah Simmons, making a huge, huge play right there to seal the victory. Got to give a lot of credit to the defense. I mean, they played lights out pretty much all game long, constantly forcing turnovers. 5 defensive turnovers in the game, including a couple of forced fumbles by Bobby Okereke and Cordell Flott, and then obviously one on special teams too. So when you can go on the road and force turnovers like that, you're always setting yourself up for success. I thought the Giants offense did a good job too, getting points off of those turnovers. I think 17 points off of 3 turnovers, which is really good.
24 of
okay.
the 31
Even better.
points. Yeah, because I guess that last score, that
The
pick
interception,
6.
yeah, that puts it over the
24
top.
of the 31 points came off of turnovers in today's one. And I mean, huge. When you win the turnover battle 6-0, this one is a bit of a head scratcher. If you're just looking at the stat sheet and you're not looking at the final score, you're like, okay, the Giants won the turnover battle 6-0, but then, well, Washington had 9 sacks on the quarterback, and this and that. I mean, 9 sacks is incredibly pressure filled, especially when you got 5 on Tommy DeVito in that first quarter. This is the first time the Giants have won a game when the quarterback was sacked more than 8 times. But got to give a lot of credit to the toughness of the quarterback, Tommy DeVito, and the way that this Giants offense aired it out in this one.
Yeah, his second start in the NFL and his second week in a row taking a pounding, and you know what? He never flinched again. It was a rough start to the game. Look, the first play of the game was a tackle for a loss for 3 yards. Saquon had -2 rushing yards in the first half. Mm-hmm. And when you saw all those sacks happen, you're saying, oh, my gosh, this is going to be a long day. And mind you, this is without Montez Sweat and Chase Young. The Washington Commanders had 1 sack since they traded both those guys. They're 2 best pass rushers, and they still had some good interior guys in Jonathan Allen and Payne. Early injury for them, so they lost one of their D tackles. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I might butcher
Odabo,
it.
yes.
Odabo, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he was carted off the field in an air cast, wishing him a very speedy recovery. Of course,
it was ugly. It did not look good. But to your point, I thought Tommy DeVito did a great job of bouncing back. Things weren't going well early on, and then as the game went on and they started to get some first downs, things kind of started to calm down. He did make a couple of nice throws. There was a nice 3rd down throw on the run to Saquon Burke of the sideline. Of course, the touchdown pass was a beauty. Got some big chunks. Like, the offense had some explosive plays, something we really haven't seen a lot of this year. A lot of it's too the fact they were playing Washington. Their defense has given up a lot of plays, and at home, I think they were giving up 32 points a game at home this year, most in the league. So this was a perfect matchup for the Giants offense, but we definitely have to tip the hat to the Paisano, Tommy DeVito. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. As much as I wince whenever there's sacks, and you see a 9-sack performance, and as an offensive lineman, it's tough to recover from that from a statistics standpoint for the season. But the fact that he didn't turn the ball over, you'll take that all day long, and those turnovers really hurt you. He's done a great job of taking care of the bread.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New You moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Absolutely. That ball security was imperative, especially in that first quarter. You mentioned the tough first quarter that this Giants team had. Tommy DeVito sacked 5 times in the first quarter, but that didn't stop them from scoring. They got a touchdown in the first quarter. A 24-yard pass to Saquon Barkley. That was the third straight 20 or more passing play that we saw in that first quarter. They were really airing it out. They were not afraid to throw the deep ball. The running game wasn't working for this Giants team. They had 0 rushing yards as a team still in the third quarter, but they had 5-6 big passing plays of 20 or more yards, and that was something that really helped this team get some points on the board. Their first touchdown in the first quarter of the season. They were up 14-3 at the half.
Couple of big third down conversions too. There was a third and 13, and all of a sudden, man, Tommy makes a great throw, a little comeback route. I think it might have been Slayton, and then another 3rd and 9 that he completed too. I think Bellinger had a big play too in the second half. I think it was. So those big chunk plays, you could see when Tommy DeVito had time and when he was starting, things calmed down around him a little bit. He throws a good ball.
Absolutely. And the way that he was able to throw the ball, 5 touchdown passes in his first 2 starts, the first time a Giants quarterback has done that. Really incredible performance so far. His teammates and coaching staff has been highlighting the positivity and the confidence that DeVito has brought to this locker room. And we're seeing it, especially in the way that he's prepared this week. And, his second week as the starting quarterback, as the ace going into that changes things.
I think he's more confident. Obviously that comes with reps, and not just game reps, but reps during the week. You start to get more comfortable with the scheme. Okay, here are my progressions. Here's where guys are going to be. And I think you could see that now. When you get the confidence and you start to make throws and you start to kind of get drives going, the game does slow down for you a little bit. So I think you have to give a lot of credit to Tommy and to the coaches for having him prepared, making sure that they are putting him in the best position to be successful. But every guy talks about Tommy the same way. Like, he's kind of got this juice to him. Like, he's not too, the lights aren't too bright. He's not shrinking on the stage. When the game's on the line, he's ready to make a play. And look, he's not scared to run with the ball too. Like, we've seen him take off and run and lower his shoulder. He's taking some big hits and he just bounces right back up. So he's showing some true Jersey toughness. And I think everybody kind of likes his mentality too. It's not, he's not trying to do touchdown celebrations. Even after the game, they talk to him, what did it mean for you? And he turns everything back to the team and how this is a great to get this result after working so hard, and it hasn't worked out for us the previous weeks.
Absolutely. And, as much as we want to give our flowers to the offense and the way they were able to put up 31 points in the win, tying the highest points total they've had this season, the defense, though, as we mentioned off the top, Shaun, was really the reason. And, one of the guys who ate today was Kayvon Thibodeau. He had 2 sacks. He's had 10.5 sacks on the season. Last year he had 4. He's really been productive this year. Yeah,
he's really pouring it on, and it kind of comes in bunches for him, right? Like, he'll kind of disappear a little bit, and then everybody says, hey, where's KT? Where's KT? And then he shows up with a vengeance, and that was today's game. And no doubt it was, not just beating Charles Leno, the left tackle, one-on-one, but there was a couple times where there were some stunts involved where he was able to get on the edge. I think also having Dexter Lawrence inside, and Dexter is playing at a high level. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the entire league right now. The way he's able to collapse the pocket. He made some big plays. Dexter Lawrence, of course, hit Sam Howell's hand as he was throwing the ball for one of those big interceptions in this game. The two of them, Dexter's pushing the pocket, so now the quarterback can't step up, and that leads right into Kayvon Thibodeau. So give Kayvon Thibodeau a lot of credit. He had a bunch of big plays. So not just the sacks, but he got a lot of pressure, a lot of quarterback hits, and I think you're just kind of seeing him add to his game. He's not just relying on his raw ability now. You're seeing him really work his craft. He's really doing a good job with his hands and getting the offensive lineman's hands off of him.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows, your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Well, and you mentioned Dexter Lawrence as well, and the fact that this man is creating so much pressure. Last I checked, he was 6th in the NFL in pressures and at the nose tackle position. Can you explain to some of our listeners who might not understand why that position is such a mind-blowing position to be among the top in pressures? Yeah,
usually, it's such a mosh pit inside. And so when you're on the perimeter, you're an edge rusher, you've got a lot more space. You can create more production from a sack standpoint. When you're inside, there's always another body. It feels like you're always getting double teamed, whether it's a guard and a center kind of posting, looking for a linebacker. It's just a lot harder to create space in there. And Dexter still doesn't have a lot of space. He just kind of kicks the door in, and he's just like, I'm coming through this A gap. Doesn't matter who you put there. And it's hard to give help to inside offensive linemen. Like, if he's one-on-one with a center, it's hard to give him help with a running back or a tight end. It's got to come from a guard. So one of the ways you combat that and you get him that one-on-one shot is you bring 5 rushers. And if you bring 5, now every offensive lineman has to block somebody one-on-one. That leaves him one-on-one with the center or one-on-one with the guard. And that's a mismatch. as big as he is, he's just as quick, and that makes him really dangerous.
Absolutely. He's like, excuse me, pardon me, right
Yeah.
this way.
And we saw the
get in there.
dance. We spoke it into existence. We were
spoke it
talking
into
about
it.
it last week on
Yeah.
Over Under, and it came to fruition.
The Sexy Dexy sack dance is undefeated as the Giants get the win 31-19 in Washington. Their second win against Washington this season, 2-2 in the division. Last year they only had one win in the division. So of course already kind of improving in that regard. Yes, the regular season record isn't what the Giants had hoped for at this point at 3-8, but 2 wins in the division. Coming back to MetLife Stadium next week to face a New England Patriots team that's coming off of their bye. The Patriots, of course, haven't been the Patriots of old or the Patriots that we expect this season. But when you're coming off a win like this, going into that game against the Patriots, the last one before the Giants bye week, what are you expecting? What are you looking for in this matchup back at MetLife?
Yeah, listen, this is a great matchup for the Giants defense again because the Patriots offense is reeling. They're really struggling to score points. Mac Jones just got benched in the last game in London against the Colts. Bailey Zappi came in and threw a pick on the very next possession. So who knows who's going to end up starting? With the bye week, that's always if you're going to make a change, that's always the time to do it. So we'll have to kind of see how that plays out. But the Patriots offense has just kind of been stuck in neutral. Like Ramondre Stevenson is their leading rusher. He's also basically their leading receiver too because Kendrick Bourne went down with an injury. So they really don't have a huge passing attack. They're not a very vertical team. They've got some good tight ends. But offensively, they're struggling. There's nothing that they do really well. Defensively, anytime you're playing a Patriots defense and a Bill Belichick coach defense, you know they're going to be good at taking the ball away. So, you've got to protect the football at all costs. Certainly, Tommy DeVito has to do that. Any ball carrier, Saquon, receivers, tight ends, take care of the football because these guys do a great job punching the ball out. And I think offensively at home, get off to a fast start. They just scored their very first quarter touchdown against Washington on the road
In week 11.
If you can do that again, that injects life into your entire team. Certainly the defense. So this should be a fun game to watch. It will feel very patriotic with the red, white, and blue of the Giants and the red, white, and blue of the Patriots. Of course, there's a deep history there between the franchises.
Yeah.
And of course, there's history there with Brian Dable, and being a former coach. Being on the staff with the Patriots, he knows Bill Belichick really well. He knows Bill O'Brien. He knows, basically their scheme and their system and how they want to play it. Of course, his time in Buffalo too. He faced them twice a year as well. So there will be a lot of familiarity there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. November 26th, next week, week 12, the Giants, Patriots, 1 p.m. at MetLife Stadium. The Giants come back home after a 3-week road stint, the last one before the bye week. And then, of course, we're sending it home. But you know what? Giants get their third win of the season, 31-19 over the Washington Commanders. Things we love to see indeed. That's a wrap for our rapid reaction here on the Giants Huddle podcast. For Shaun O'Hara, I'm Madelyn Burke, reminding you that Giants fans love a winner. It's why they love Citizens, named a 2022 Best Bank in the U.S. by The Banker. As the official bank of the Giants and sponsor of the Huddle, Citizens is made ready for fans of Big Blue. Learn more at citizensbank.com.